We've got 5 new law changes at the Jersey Shore, Philadelphia's second home, that we're going to talk about next for summer 2023. So we know what happens holiday weekends in the greater Philadelphia area. Half the population, if not more, makes the trek down the Atlantic City Expressway to the Jersey Shore, the South Jersey Shore specifically. And it's been an interesting escape since the pandemic of 2020. People got some respite down there. They were able to go outside, go to the beach. And now what we saw, because of some of the laws that were in place, is that things got a little out of control down the shore, especially with some of these new law changes that have happened and are getting enacted for summer 2023. So I'm going to explain each one of them to you right now. And I see this as mostly positive. So the first one, this is big news coming out of Wildwood, that the Board of Commissioners this past week, they had 2 ordinances that they passed involving alcohol that go into effect right in time for Memorial Day weekend. Shocker. So consider this your Memorial Day primer here for 2023 at the Jersey Shore. One prohibits the consumption, display, and possession of alcohol on the beach and on the boardwalk, and that includes closed and open containers. If you remember a couple years ago, and Nick, I don't know if you remember this, it was the video of the girl that got in the fight with the police officer because she was underage drinking down the shore. I think she had a friend with her or something like that, and there's video of the police officer and her getting into a little bit of a tussle. So this isn't the first time there's been a problem regarding alcohol in the Wildwood beaches or probably anywhere in the Jersey Shore. So that's number one. The second one, and I find this to be the more important one, the designation of underage drinking, alcohol possession, and other offenses as a breach of peace violation. Wildwood's not the only town doing this down in South Jersey. This was a big problem. Teenagers were underage drinking and literally taking over the beach. It was like a nightclub down there, and it caused a lot of families who would normally patronize businesses or go to the rides on the boardwalk. They wouldn't want to go there after dark. And to hear that families can't go to the boardwalk after dark, or they're afraid, or they're worried about what's going to happen with thousands of kids on the beach that are having a good time, doing things that a lot of kids did in high school, but in a way that's very disruptive to the rest of the residences, to me, that's a problem. I'm a big fan of this law. I think it's going to return the Jersey Shore back to the family fun zone that it normally is. So these are 2 big changes coming out of Wildwood right in time for Memorial Day weekend. And in line with this, Sea Isle City, a little further north, on March 28th, they enacted a new rule for everyone, including adults, that bans bags larger than 8 by 6, so 8 inches by 6 inches, on the promenade, which is their boardwalk there. It's much smaller than the other boardwalks. If you've ever been to the Sea Isle boardwalk, did you even know Sea Isle had a boardwalk? This was like a big thing for, I know my wife was shocked they had a boardwalk because she went to Ocean City and Wildwood all the time. So it's not as big, but they banned backpacks from the promenade between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. from May 15th to September 15th. Doesn't include medical devices or journalists or people engaged in fishing or police officers. So the reason they did this was, again, for the teens gathering late at night, underage drinking, and vandalizing some of the shops and the public space in Sea Isle City. And in a lot of cases, when these underage activities happened, all the police officers could do was issue a warning, nothing else. And Ocean City went ahead and did the same thing. They can now detain minors, and this is law number 3, for a breach of peace violation. So there's already a curfew for people under 17 in Ocean City, which bans them from being in public areas from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. I mean, I'm fast asleep by then, so hopefully this doesn't happen with my kids. If they're under 17, in the off season, and it's 10:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the in-season times. And now police can detain underage people for that breach of peace offense, which covers things like breaking curfew, excessive noise, underage drinking, all the things you would kind of expect. This to me is a really great rule because in Ocean City last year, there was these crowds of thousands of kids that would gather on the beach right by the boardwalk. They would block families from the on and off ramps at the boardwalk, and it would hurt local businesses. These businesses are in-season businesses, and I don't even blame the kids for this. I blame the laws. There's got to be a way to enforce this, and by only being able to issue a warning, to me, that's a failure at the government level. So this is a great trend that we're seeing in Wildwood, in Sea Isle, and in Ocean City. The fourth law, not as exciting as and as beneficial to the areas as what we just talked about. In March, Seaside Heights Borough passed an ordinance requiring drivers to pull head in when parking in diagonally angled parking spots, and that impacts a couple of streets there. And a lot of these people wanted to back in, and it was causing accidents. So that's an obvious safety item to get past. There's a couple streets like that in Philadelphia, down in Bella Vista and Queen Village, where you have to pull head in, not back in. Seems to make a lot of sense. And then the last law, and this one, I can't believe this had to be a law in the first place. In February, all 9 of the Atlantic City casinos enacted policies banning firearms or weapons on casino property. And in light of what's been going on in the world, another great law to get passed here so that people feel safe going and patronizing these businesses. So, what I see here when I look at all these laws is that things got a little out of control down the shore. When you only can issue a warning, when shoplifting is up 400% in some of these local boardwalks. I mean, Ocean City, this is people's livelihood, having those shops on the boardwalk. Same thing in Wildwood. When you see a 4x increase in shoplifting, when families can't come and patronize these stores and businesses during prime times when they're on vacation. This is where a lot of people from Philadelphia go on vacation. To me, it was hurting businesses, hurting towns, hurting the community. So getting a better handle on things in all of these areas, and these weren't the only places that had problems. Avalon, New Jersey had the same problem. All the towns, basically from Atlantic City south, had these issues with a lack of control, with underage breach of peace. So to me, this is going to be a great sign for the shore moving forward. And we know a lot of people are going to be going down there, taking their kids down, their families down. I know certainly my family and I go down there often. So seeing these laws get passed that will suppress the breach of peace, the disruption that people have when they're going on vacation, when they're spending time and money and their time off in a certain location, is going to be great for all the communities down there and should make summer 2023 an enjoyable one down at the Jersey Shore. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to the channel for the most recent updates.